The Diocese of Altoona-Johnstown is blessed with a vibrant permanent diaconate ministry, and the other night, deacons and their wives came together to celebrate their ministry during their annual dinner with Bishop Mark at the U.S. Hotel Tavern in Hollidaysburg. I was graciously invited to join the group, and while I was there, I chatted with some of them about the joy of serving our local church in unique ways.
I'm proud of all of you and the good works that you do, and I often hear from people around the diocese who they might not even remember your name, but you were at the hospital, or you were at the funeral home, or you were wherever. So those things don't go unnoticed, and living and carrying on the works of mercy are really important for the average people in our lives. So keep on doing that as well. And as I said, to share it so that others will be inspired to follow in our footsteps.
We're just trying to be good disciples of Jesus Christ, who came to serve and not to be served. And so every time we see someone in need, we see that as an opportunity to be Christ to them and to bring Christ to those who don't know him, and to bring others closer who have the wrong idea about him. And that creates joy for us and comfort and joy for them.
It is demanding, but there's a reward to it. And I just feel that spiritual reward, and that lifts me up and keeps me going. When I feel run down or tired or I feel like, we're not accomplishing anything.
And we kind of bounce that off each other. I know there's plenty of times like he may feel tired, but I'm all energetic, or vice versa, or we encourage each other. And I think the important thing is to be firmly rooted in your faith. So God has always remained center of our life. So even despite, maybe some obstacles in our life, or I'm still working full time, Alan's retired, semi-retired, he has another job. But, I think it's always keeping God at the center of your life, and making sure that you form all your decisions around that. We don't let it get in the way. And when it does, it kind of get burdensome. And I think it's maybe unique to deacons that are still married or have jobs and juggling that. I think that's a really important question. But at the end of the day, we come together, we're solid in prayer. We, our family, we do take time to be with our family, so we do have time to recharge. And I think that's always important. As a deacon or in any kind of ministry or even in employment, you need time to recharge so you can keep up the work.
Yeah, and there's times that you feel like you can't go on anymore, and then somebody gives you a thank you card or a letter, and it's priceless. Yeah. And it lifts me up. It's like, okay. I'm touching people. Sometimes you don't realize how much you're touching people's lives until you get a thank you card or a letter.
I think whenever you're doing these things, you don't even look at it as service. You look at it as a calling. You've been called to be there. And that's what makes all the difference between having to do something and having the privilege of doing it. And, I don't have to go to daily Mass, but we get to participate at daily Mass. And all those things are important. And also, I think a lot of times the training, it takes some training to handle some of these situations. There's a time to help someone out, and there's a time to recommend they got to move on to, more professional help. But it is a joy. I get to see miracles all the time. God's presence is there. Just being able to live our faith without any of the obstacles that they have in other countries. We have so many blessings that we don't thank God for.
What's your favorite aspect of it? Is it assisting at the altar? Is it, if you had to choose maybe one or two things that just brings you the most joy, what would they be?
When I was serving in jail.
Talk about that.
When you work with somebody in jail, they're the least lost and the lonely, and everybody's given up on them. They've been deemed that they did something heinous, and they're not allowed in society anymore, and they've got to be isolated in prison. And that's a very lonely feeling, and to minister somebody through that, it's just a joy.
Over the years, we can actually see the Holy Spirit really at work, especially this year. We have 4 men coming through to Rite of Acolyte. I have 3 men coming into Rite of Candidacy, and I have about 5 or 6 other men who have contacted me to talk about the diaconate. And I say the Holy Spirit is at work because this is a call to service. And you're right, Tony. We have deacons in hospitals. We have them in prisons. We have them in assisted living facilities. We have them in parishes. Some of them are teaching. So it's a broad brush when you look at the vocation. And so the men, once they get ordained and are active in ministry, they look not only to the existing ministries, but they are bringing new ministries into the church. And it's exciting. And we're getting men that are a younger age. It always had a history of being an older vocation, but not anymore. We have men in the program that are in their late 30s, early 40s, young children, and we adapt the program so that their family can fit into the program. And the good thing about the diaconate is when you come into this program, in formation as we call it, we put you immediately to work in the parish with certain things you can do with the priest. That's part of your formation. Unlike a seminarian, they're in the seminary in school. And so we don't get a chance to work with them until they're finished. But with the diaconate, part of their formation is getting involved in the parish. So right away, they're working hand in glove with the pastor, getting involved in different ministries and whatnot in the parish. That helps them to discern if this is a vocation for them. And I'm happy to say that we haven't lost any, so yes, it is. So once they tap into it, they really get excited about having hands-on ministry with the people in the pews, which is basically where we come from. We come from the trenches, and so here we are serving those people. So it's attracting more and more in the diocese, and I'm very pleased to say that because this past month I've had probably between 7 and 8 calls on top of what I already have that want to meet with me, have an appointment, talk about the vocation, and then hopefully come forward and say yes, they want to serve.